Alright guys, I'm back with another video, and this is going to be a different video because I'm going to explain to you my theory of how the X-Men and Fantastic Four will be introduced in the MCU. And I know there's a lot of you saying like, oh no, they're already in the MCU, they're just going to like pop up out of nowhere. But like my theory is going to be a bit complicated, and I'm going to draw it for you guys because I know for some of you it's gonna be like, what is this guy saying? Does he even read comics? Does he even know that there's a ton of Earths on like the Marvel universe, like at the DC side? So I'm gonna explain to you my theory of how the X-Men and Fantastic Four will be introduced in the MCU. Let's get started. First, I'll draw a circle right here. Okay, now this is the MCU. MCU. There we go. Okay, so this is where the cinematic universe is taking place, obviously. And I'm gonna draw a line right here. And I'm gonna draw another circle right here. Now I'm gonna call it Earth 2. And this will be where all the characters are taking place of, like where the X-Men and Fantastic Four are, like without the MCU. Alright, so like during Avengers 4, right? So it's been proven that they're gonna time travel with like the leaked images from Avengers 4. So well, they're going back in time somehow with like the time stone, and say that there are like some things right here, like locks, right? Like locks that prevent it, like that separates the two Earths. All right, so during Avengers 4 time traveling, the heroes time travel to like Avengers 1, right? Like the first Avengers movie. But now, since while they're time traveling, they kind of, let's say, kind of like in the Flashpoint Paradox film, they kind of rip the time fabric. So I'm gonna draw like a tiny thing on here, like rip. So, because they ripped it, this whole thing right here kind of got messed up. So now this thread that separates the MCU from Earth 2, let's call it like the alternate MCU, where like the X-Men and Fantastic Four are. So because of that, like rip in the time fabric, these locks disappear, and either Earth, the MCU, or Earth 2, they clash. They don't really clash, but they merge into one Earth. Right here. Now let's call this one New MCU. Okay. So because of that, like ripped in the thing, like in the time thread, since they didn't have the locks anymore, now they move to each other and they clash into making the new MCU. Now this is where the X-Men and Fantastic Four are already. Alright? So this is my thing. By the end of Avengers 4, we get an Easter egg in in some sort of shape or form of the X-Men or Fantastic Four, or even both. And this is my second thing. In the start of Spider-Man Far From Home, let's just say that the for the X-Men, let's just say that Spider-Man is fighting Mysterio, and then you overhear a person saying, or like, no, it is a new one. What if because of the thread that they ruptured for making the MCU kind of like changed the normal MCU to like the new MCU. So then when Spider-Man gets back on Earth for the film, by the end of the film, we see a newspaper that says, like, say that the Earth has fast forward like 1 or 1.5 years, and there's a newspaper saying, like, oh, newborn with a genetic problem, or like, yeah, born with a genetic problem that they're different than like normal babies when they're born. So let's just say that, like a newspaper that says, like, oh, like news, the kind of like newborn with like different genes, like mutate, but they had to keep it discreet because of the obvious X-Men reference. So for the Fantastic Four, let's say that Spider-Man is fighting again Mysterio. Well, by the end of the film, we see like Spider-Man sees like like a streak of light in the night sky or daylight, and it's like fire. Obviously, Johnny Storm. And then Spider-Man says like, "Whoa, like that's different. I haven't seen like that's an abnormality of like a fire on the sky. Like I wonder how that happened. Or to make it discreet, just like a flash of light, like phew, like that, right? But we like Parker cannot say obviously like, oh, maybe new heroes I haven't seen. No, because that won't make it too obvious. So like a streak of light, like in the night sky or daylight, that goes like really fast, and that's like an Easter egg of the of Earth 2 with the X-Men and Fantastic Four merging or merged with the normal MCU Earth. That like because of the time traveling, they kind of messed up the time vortex or something, the timeline, and both worlds clash into making the new MCU with the X-Men and Fantastic Four. I know it kind of sounds really weird, but that's how I thought about it a few days ago. That like there's like a different Earth with the X Men and Fantastic Four. Like they just say everyone is here almost. So let's just say that because of the time rupture, they make a new MCU, like the new Earth, like Earth 1.5 or something. Let's just say that. So that's my theory that how the X Men and Fantastic Four will join the MCU because they're not gonna be there until like Phase 5. So it like to make it obvious, kind of like oh they've always been in the MCU. They're just gonna pop up out of nowhere. But this is my way of how they're gonna be introduced with like Earth 2 with the X Men and Fantastic Four merging with the MCU to make the new MCU Earth 1.5, which is normal of the MCU but with a tiny bit difference. Do you understand? So yeah, that's my theory for the new MCU of how the X Men and Fantastic Four will pop out. Because again, like there's always been on the MCU, they're just gonna pop out of the shadows. So they kind of makes it obvious that they're always been there. Kind of like oh, they're just gonna pop out because you know like now that the X Men and Fantastic Four are there, they're just gonna pop out of nowhere and then be like, oh hey Spider Man, I'm Wolverine, or like, hey Iron Man, I'm Reed Richards. Like they're just making it too obvious. But this is my theory, and I hope you guys like it. All right, bye.